And this is only September 2, so potential, I guess. Mrs. Osa's not here this week, so, well, for at least half of this week. So I've got a thought that, I got my evenings to myself. I can stream some Railroad. I can't watch any TV shows while she's not here because she'll complain that I'm watching TV shows without her. Unless it's a sci-fi show, in which case I can watch those. So I think Andor comes out next week. So I might watch that. But, Leverage Redemption, the third season dropped the first 3 episodes this last Thursday. So I have to wait until she comes back for that. By which time there'll probably be 4 episodes to watch. But I can play some Farming Simulator off camera and possibly harvest a sizable part of this field, if not all of it, and get us into September, October, and then maybe we can figure out the sunflower problem. And so next week's episode we'll harvest the sunflowers and then figure out what happens after that. Again, we're going to be using small harvest, even though I mean, corn headers, there's that one which goes on some big harvesters. There's that one, also 6 meters. That folds, that has an advantage. Whoops. Back combinations, that will go on the Evian as the smallest harvester. So I might need to lease myself an Evian, and that might end up being the harvester I need. Well, I don't know. I mean, if I'm not then doing corn or if I'm not doing corn or sunflowers, then I might not need a big harvester. I can go with that or that or that. Something small, which are fairly cheap. Well, that's not exactly cheap. It's 5,600, 7,000. So a Dominator would be good. That is 8,000. That is also 8,000. So I don't know. If an Evian comes up for sale, or maybe one of those two, we will we'll buy one. Oh, we full? No. Why did we stop? That's weird. Okay. But yeah, I can keep an eye out for a small harvester with about 8,000 litre hopper. That should be okay for getting round this map. That said, okay. Yeah. I think we ended up too far south. Oh, and we're full. Okay. Well, that's another thing. For grain headers, I did pick up the Cressoni, and don't know what the difference between these two is, but it doesn't have a that's just the fruits it works with, the fruits that you can harvest. So long grain rice, sorghum, looks like soybeans, canola, oats, barley and wheat. So there's that. I don't know what the difference between a Sojaflex or a CRX or not Sojaflex is. Probably go with that one, but they fold. So they're like the headers we had on the last one, but 6 meters. We are going to need a harvester that works with the 6.2 meter header. So the Evian might be a good harvester. Just saying. Oops, back. Combinations on that. That's exactly 6 meters. The Dominator. Alright, the TX. 4 meter header. That'll drive down the roads. That is a bigger than I was looking at harvester, which will take 7.6 meter in theory, and that is the Dominator 5.1. So the Evian is looking to be a good harvester for us. I'm gonna take a look at the MF 7.6. So that does take a wider. I'm thinking, okay, if I'm folding up a header, a 6 meter header will fold into 3 meters. I've already deduced that a 3 meter wide width will fit down parts of lanes that look like this with fences on both sides. 4 meters will not, so a 6.5 meter header might be a little bit of a challenge. 7 meter header, we're getting into the realms of might not work, plus the bigger harvester might not fit. So I think the Evian with the 6 meter header, folding header, will be a good harvester to have, not this year. But if an Evian comes up in the store for sale, I might buy one anyway, and then lease a corn header so that we can harvest the sunflowers. To there. Okay. Oh. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. Cruise control, GPS. Gotcha. Oh, also, not planning to plant any vegetables because you have to need vegetables, a vegetable planter. That's 3 meters. That's 270 horsepower. That would work. And that is a tool to create ridges. That doesn't work. That is a cedar, 3 meter, 50 horsepower. So yeah, we could, that's 70 horsepower, 6 meter planter. That's a planter. That's a create ridges. Oh, that's just to create ridges. So we could have one of those and something like that, which is 6 meters but folds. Doesn't have a very big seed capacity, obviously. And look, we've ended up in the middle of next week. Something. So yeah, we could buy vegetable planters. They're not that expensive, I guess. I suppose. Do that. Do that. Do that. Off you go. I guess it depends how much money we make from harvesting sugar beets. Part of the problem with the financial records here, that's not the thing I want to look at, that's the thing I want to look at. With the finances here, you get 1 column per month, so August, September. I can't see the breakdown of if I did, I did wood chips only on day 1, and I've done sugar beets only on, not sugar beets, red beets only on day 2, but I cannot see how much money I've made or what the leasing costs have been just for the sugar beets. It's for everything I've done this month. So okay. Oh, you're holding there, that's good. So I don't know how lucrative this has been or will be. If I can get another trailer, you'll definitely... Having a second trailer means that the job is quicker because you can harvest, you can empty, you can keep harvesting, and you're just harvesting for a long time, and then you take 3 minutes out to drive down to the store and back. So it's a little bit of a changeover there. But that's why soybeans are so good, because you can harvest quite a lot of them before you have to worry about. I kind of figured that was going to be a problem. But yeah, because they take up so little of the so little space in a trailer, you can harvest more of the field before you actually have to do a 10-minute trip down to the store and back. Whereas with something like barley, you have to take more trips to the store, and that can be an issue. I think maybe when I get to the bottom here, I might close the gate. Just seems like a good plan. At least while we're doing the bit between the gates. Once we've moved over, we've got what, 3, maybe 4 more rows there. The gate will not be an issue anymore. What I'll do is I'll drive through there. I think, yeah, obviously one of my favourite tractors is the Massey Ferguson 5 series. The Arian 600, 500 is good. It's a very short wheelbase. 400 is also a good one. I think I've got that as an option as well. Got an Arian 600. The 500 is what we have. We do not have a 400. That's a shame. Oh yes, we do. We have a 400 as well, which is 90 to 155 horsepower. The 500 is 145 to 165. Is that one then? Oh, that's 155. Okay. So, not very big harvesters, but or tractors. But the short wheelbase does mean that you can do you can do field jobs that involve a lot of really tight manoeuvring. I've used the 5F before when we were doing sugar beet harvesting, because well, that wasn't exactly the plan, I guess. Because you want something small and manoeuvrable to work the topper. So something like this, as I said, I've used the Massey Ferguson 5 series. They're really good tractors, and I think for manoeuvrability the only thing that comes in better would be a Linden track, because they have 4-wheel steering. But this is gonna work out as a good tractor. Not sure about the Deutz that we have. But hey, it's all a good thing. Going to be a little bit awkward getting all of this done, because there are a lot of gaps in the crop. I think it's a good turn to make. Look how tight that is, and this harvester's actually assisting because of the steering axle at the back. Go. But it shows what you can do. You can do this with a sugar beet harvester too. We went and had a look at sugar beets. Where are sugar beets? Beet harvesters. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, beet harvesters. Yes, see these things. 215 horsepower, 280 horsepower. Well, that's sad. You need 200 horsepower to do that. With potato harvesters, that is 200. That's 200. So we couldn't do sugar beets or potatoes with our current setup because we just don't have a harvester that's big enough to do that. But I don't know if that's the right line. We might miss a row. Might have to come back and do the other row. Yes, we miss a row. But yeah, we can do vegetables. We can't do the new vegetables. Now, whenever new crops or equipment is introduced into the game, I do go and look for potentially especially if new crops are announced for the game, I will go and look for what potentially new equipment could we see. So things like, oh, you're going to need a planter that can plant spinach, you're going to need a harvester that can cut spinach. And they told us that, you know, the original information sheets showed us oxbow harvesters, and I was looking at that, and if I remember rightly, there is a tractor-hauled oxbow harvester for green beans. There's nothing for spinach, there's nothing for peas. So I don't know what they used to do in the 1990s before the big self-contained, self-propelled bean harvest, or pea and spinach harvesters came in. But I think you can get a green bean harvester, much like this thing, that you stick on the back of a tractor and fairly cheaply could be harvesting green beans, which would give you the option of doing a green bean harvest. Sadly, the only vehicles we got were in excess of £500,000 and were self-propelled harvesters. So there's no cheap option for the new crops. But give me a cheap option and I'll take a look at it. I might not enjoy it. Seriously, a point for sugarcane harvesters where we're full. Yeah, where sugarcane harvesters come in, it's like, oh, that tractor hauled one is just a pain in the butt to use. So did it once and said, yeah, I'm not really a fan of sugarcane. I mean, the nice thing about sugar, it's a little bit like potatoes. You can use the harvest for oh, hang on, let's turn the engine off. You can use the harvest, so what you harvest, to plant a new crop, like you can with potatoes. But it grows, it keeps growing. So once you've planted sugarcane, it'll grow more. Once you've planted potatoes, once you've harvested them, you have to plant them again. That's the same with poplars. You plant them once, you harvest them once, and then you have to wait. Yeah, you have to plant them again if you want more. I thought they were perpetual crops, should we call them? So sugar cane is a perpetual crop. Grass is a perpetual crop. So you plant it once and it will keep growing forever. Potatoes aren't, but you can harvest the potatoes, plant the potatoes, which makes it interesting. I did that on, can't remember which map it was, but I ended up, the starter farm that I picked had lots and lots of tiny fields around it. One of them was ready to harvest potatoes. So I figured, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the little potato harvester, get a potato topper, and we'll just harvest the potatoes. And because the what do you call it, the thing that you put the crops in, because the farm silo was an all fruit silo, I could put the potatoes in the silo, so I did. I didn't sell them immediately. I waited till I harvested all the other fields, picked another field to harvest, or picked another field, and then this is not working out for me. Okay then. So the result was that I had some potatoes left over, and all I did was use some of the potatoes to plant a slightly bigger field and sold the leftovers as profit from the first one. Why aren't you... Oh, seriously. Pain in the butt. Oh, good grief. Go. Go. Come on. Why are you stuck in reverse? Drive. Go. There we go. Cruise control is on. GPS is on. Yeah, so, yeah. Sold the excess as profit from the field, which was a good profit for potatoes. And so I did that 2 or 3 times, just picking the next field up. So if we look at what we have in the way of fields, you could say, okay, this field was potatoes. You harvest that, and then I'll plant this one with potatoes and sell the excess. And I'll harvest that, and then I'll plant this one with potatoes and sell the excess. And you just do it that way, and you can increase the amount of potatoes you have, but they are so lucrative. Not because potatoes are worth a ton of money, but because potatoes are a very low, very high yield crop. So you have a lot of them, and while they're not worth much, that doesn't